playing this. You wouldn't want to leave it for Ronnie to pot, so he may have to pot it, or at least move it, one of the two.
Yes, I think he's a little concerned about clattering into reds. Not quite sure where the white's going to finish up, but I think he's going to take it on. Yes, well, that was the danger.
Well, the black's gone safe, which is in his favour, of course.
Well, that kiss on the pink actually helped Ronnie's cause there.
Well, he's got the angle on the blue if he wants to smash into the reds. And he may have to do that here, given that nothing much is on. No, he decided to try and develop the black, so he's tried a clever shot there. Just nudged the black on.
6.
He has got a shot at a red, the one on the, near the black spot will pot. That's going to be difficult for Ronnie. I mean, such a great break builder and scorer, but looking where the balls are, it's hard to imagine that he can win the frame from this visit unless he really does something to get the open, the big colours out in the open. I mean, pink's awkward, black is just in a terrible position, really. Five reds that are close together as well. He's stretching over this to play left-handed, trying to swing the cue ball around the table off the yellow. Not sure I know which red he played on there. Nothing much goes.
9.
He could play in behind the green off the 5 reds in the pack. I think that's what he'll do.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 9.
That's okay, that's a good shot.
Oh, she flipped one. Well. So just held his hand up there to Ken. He certainly didn't play that.
No, and it was actually a bad safety shot, Mike, because he caught the reds too thin and he smashed into the pink. So it was lucky that the red dropped in, really. I mean, he hasn't really finished easy on a colour, but...
Watch this again. One onto another, onto another. Oh.
No, I think he's just playing a safety shot here.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
It's another good shot, actually.
Yes, I think Ken needs a cushion. Don't think there's anything you can see direct.
Foul and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
Well, there's nothing there. Surely Ronnie will have that replaced.
Now, the only thing is, Ronnie will think that Ken is good enough to just lay onto the red the second time. So
True enough.
You might just think that it's worth playing.
Oh, well. Pardon me.
It's not Ronnie O'Sullivan's kind of frame, this, really, with all the high colours tied up. So if he can win it, then it'll be a big bonus, because he sometimes doesn't seem very interested in frames like this, similar to the way Stephen Hendry went for a while up until a year or two ago. He didn't like the frames that were a bit messy. But Ronnie has done a little wrong this frame. I mean, he was lucky earlier when he fluked that red after playing a bad safety shot. Just that one of these frames where the balls haven't really run favourably for either player. That was another great shot.
8.
But again, he can only play on one of the colours up the table unless he wants to flick the black out here.
9.
Which he tried to do.
Green ball. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 9.
Good shot. He was worried about the red close to the black, that he was going to go into it on the safety shot, but it was well judged.
Oh, that white was very, very close to that middle pocket, but it's ended up okay.
Yeah, it was a good shot in the end, wasn't it? He knew he had to get quite close to the middle pocket, I think.
Years now since Ken Doherty lifted the World Championship, went back to Dublin to a pretty riotous reception.
Foul and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
Going back then this time, Ronnie deciding that there's no advantage out of playing the shot, so asking Ken to go in again, and probably you'll try the same shot actually, one cushion, play it, just aim a little lower down the cushion if he can, so that he can get the direction right. Well, it's just slightly out of position, isn't it? That was the
there's the still
place.
That's the still, and here we are live.
Still not quite right. It's always difficult to get it dead on.
Yes.
Well, he's right, isn't he? Because
Ken is right. We saw from the still. But of course, Alan Chamberlain at the moment doesn't have that advantage that we have.
He can use it though. He
yes,
can refer
indeed.
to it if he wants to.
Okay,
I don't think it matters that much if a player is going to play almost the same shot. It's just when a different shot comes into the equation that he mightn't have been able to play before. It's when it gets a little bit of a concern. We've seen one or two controversies over the years with the balls being replaced. Saw one in the World Championships, didn't we, with Joe Swan and young Venbo, who was 12-12 at the time.
Oh, what sort of a shot was that? That was out of the top draw.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why he didn't try that first time, isn't it? Because, I mean, if that shot is on, then you can do no real damage with it, because...
Earlier, you might recall, Ken did actually go around and have a look at that red to see whether it was actually touching the cushion. The shot is always slightly easier, isn't it, Neil, when the ball is touching the cushion than if it's just a fraction off. And I think that was actually on the cushion.
It's a good shot. It was well thought out in the end. Don't know if it's going to win the frame. If he's going to... I mean, he's got the red to the left of the black, which will pot, and that's a good one to get out of the way. It'll open up the black to both corner pockets. So it's not maybe a frame winning chances yet, but certainly a chance to get a few points in front at least in the frame.
Has got a chance.
12.
Didn't play that very well, though. He's short of speed. He wanted to be at least straight on this. That means he can't really hold for the next red.
Yes, wanted to drop this cue ball between the two reds, obviously, give himself the choice. I don't see how he can do that now.
No, and to go all the way around the table won't be easy, because the lower value colours all away from their spots. These are getting in the way, and that's exactly what's happened. There was a bit of a mess, wasn't it, in the end, that shot?
19. Ken Doherty, 19.
Well, it should be that Ronnie can play a thin safety off these reds, knowing that the black is covering that right corner. So it's unlikely that he'll leave a red on.
That was fraught with danger. The red could so easily have knocked the black in, but look at the finish. He almost got that cue ball right behind the colour. We could be here for some time. Ken's wondering whether that red can actually be squeezed past the black. Obviously not from that position.
Well, Ronnie playing the other red here. Surprising shot.
Alan Chamberlain's just asked if he can have a look here for obvious reasons. There's always the possibility of a foul shot from a position like this, and he wants to be able to see where everything is in case he has to replace balls, which of course is not saying much for the confidence of Ken Doherty in hitting a red here. But sometimes the players actually invite the referee to do that when they know the situation. But that was a clever little shot from Ronnie.
No easy shot here for Ronnie. He's looked at playing both reds. Red up the table that he's now looking at. This is the most obvious, the one near the cushion. He'd have to be a little careful he didn't push the red near a pocket. I'm playing safe here. No, he's avoided that anyway. But it could be that the red will pass the blue. And Ken has got to go for this if that's the case. It's a good chance.
Well, whilst he contemplates, I'll quickly tell you that Ding Junhui has won the third frame of his match against Mark Davis. He now leads Mark by 2 frames to 1.
Problem is where the red finishes up now, the one that he missed. That would have been handy for Ronnie if it was possible to the left centre, but I don't know if it is. May see enough of it to put it down into the bottom left pocket though. Black over the pocket means if it goes in, he's strong favourite. That was a terrible kick though. Cuban, he jumped off the table there. Even Alan Chamberlain just made a sort of groaning noise as if he couldn't believe that. It was a terrible contact.
Yes, and I don't think he even waited for Ken Doherty to say, please clean the ball. He probably went straight to it this time. Last time he offered to clean it for Ken, and Ken said, no, don't worry about it. Oh, well, that was cruel.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
That was particularly cruel.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't actually play the shot very well. He really jabbed at it, but to go in off was unfortunate in the end. Ronnie's problem is the yellow, I think, just that it's close to the cushion. Don't know what he can do about that, really. Obviously, he can pot it along the cushion later on. With the green where it is, it wouldn't be impossible. Well, I'll tell you what, he's played an ambitious shot there. He's played to move the yellow off the opening red.
There was no need to do that, frankly. There was no need to do that at all. There's enough colours down there for him to take one of them off the last red and leave himself a shot on the yellow. I'm very surprised he played that way.
Well, the thing is, he would have needed to put the yellow and the green. It wouldn't have been just the yellow required, so he took a chance. I suppose if he'd knocked the yellow out, we'd have been saying great shot, wouldn't we? But it was unorthodox type of shot, really. Here it is again. I mean, even then he didn't move the yellow because he got the double kiss.
Where's the white going?
Foul.
Wow.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
I could see what he was trying to do, but the execution, I'm afraid, was not particularly good.
Now, the opening red won't be easy for Ronnie. course, this safety bout is ongoing because of where the black is, and both of the players were playing to push the reds over to the right of the table.
Well, I seem to recall saying some time ago we could be here for some time. I still think there's some life left in this frame yet, Neil.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other real shot on, is there? You can't take a risk. I mean, Kenny's going to chip the left hand of the two reds across to the right of the table here again. This is no other shot that he's got. Don't think the red will pass the black. Look at that. That's as far away as you could be, isn't it? From one corner of the table to the other.
Yes.
It's about 13 feet, isn't it?
Now, I wonder whether that cue ball is actually angled behind the cushion.
Well, it would be a surprise if the red is over to the right of the table, if it was, wouldn't it? Because, you know, you'd think that he could get over that side of the table, otherwise he's almost in the pocket, isn't he?
He is almost in the pocket. He's not very happy, that's for sure.
I think he might be able to get to it off of a cushion.
There you are, you see. That was all he could do. Well played. And a little tap of appreciation from Ken there.
Mind you, he's in trouble again here. Ken's got certainly the advantage. And he'll be doing nothing much to move the reds away from the black either. It's a good shot. Showing like a little kiss on the green.
Yes, he wanted it to just go past it, didn't he? Fascinating frame this has turned out to be.
Just wonder if there's a place with the red right on the side cushion where it'll pass the black and go in. Ken is having a look. It just might be potable along there.
Well, that would certainly end the impasse that we've had these last few minutes, if it does.
Could play it maybe cushion first, and then that'll take the cue ball away from that little corner as well. I mean, it's a difficult shot, I think, this. Every chance that he'll double kiss the black with the red. So now Ronnie has the advantage, at least. I mean, he can put distance between cue ball and object ball, which is always what you want in these situations, really. Up behind the green and blue, maybe, with the cue ball. And he's tried that. Doesn't gain a real big advantage with that safety shot, which wasn't one of his best. Every frame is different in snooker, isn't it? They all start off the same, don't they, with the break-off shot, but they do go a different way.
I think we should have a re-rack, actually.
It's one of those situations where that's probably not going to happen here, is it?
No, I don't think so.
But
not with so many balls already in pocket. Down in the pocket.
You can't see how it's going to come to an end quickly either.
That's true.
Strange one, this.
Well, there's only 2 points in the frame. If there were a big one-sided scoreline, there's no way there'd be a re-rack. But even though we've got so far into this frame, given that there's only 2 points in it, I just pose the question.
I don't. Yeah, you could be right. I'm not sure about that. I don't know if there could be a re-rack. Maybe if the two reds were right over the top of the black, perhaps. But now Kenny's looking at maybe knocking in that red again. I think the black makes it tricky because it's quite close to the bottom cushion, the black, and again you could get some kind of a double kiss from red to black there. Doesn't like it, not playing it.
Neither should he.
Okay, just looking at that, it does look like from a certain place something will pass the black there, one of those reds, but if the chance arose, perhaps. Well, that's kind of, well, I was going to say it's changed something. I'm not sure it has.
I don't think so. I think it's just prolonging the agony, because now we're at the situation where another few shots from both of these players, taking the Reds back to where they were near the back, will take another few minutes.
Yeah, because Ken can't take a risk here with this. He can only play to the left of the table as we're looking there. And that's all he can do. That's a great shot though, because don't forget he was queuing over a ball. It really is a good shot. Now Ronnie's got to play off of a cushion this time. It's slightly different. Doesn't want to come over to the right of this red. Yeah, that's a good shot. Don't think he's left the red on. Might decide to play the red on the right of the table here, you know. Again, it could be a natural in behind the green off of either of the two reds.
He'd love to have a go at that red, but it's just not on. The angle's just not there, really. Cue ball and object ball far too close together. That was a good effort, but in fact all he's done now is made the blue and green an even more inviting target. Yeah, well, that's changed it slightly.
I think Ken has to be a little careful this time on this shot. If he plays the up and down safety, that he doesn't hit one red onto the other and knock the black in. That's what he was worried about there. Now then, I just wonder, can Ronnie pot this now past the black? I wonder if that's a possibility. We'll soon find out. If he just gets down and plays the other one. No, clearly that will not pass. Well, these two have been on these two reds now for a long time.
Yes, on the other table, they're not far short of their mid-session interval. Marks on a half-century break against Ding Junhui. The possibility of squaring it all up there at 2 frames apiece. Oh, that was a risky one from Ken, nearly knocking the white, the black into the pocket.
Well, back to where we were a few moments ago again, aren't we?
Yes, I just wonder where this frame's going, to be honest. Although it's been gone for some time, I still don't think a re-rack is totally out of the question.
That was a good shot. Now things are getting a little serious. Ronnie's got to be careful here. Doesn't want to hit the first red too thin onto the second red and knock the black in. Well, now this has changed a few things. Only if the cue ball had gone in though. So now it's going to be the same shot from Ken, isn't it? Push the red across. It's the only shot he's got. That's the problem. It's not that he's being negative, there's just no other shot for him. If Ronnie wanted to end this, he'd need to get one of those reds completely away from there. That would be the best way if he was unhappy with the way the frame is going.
Well, given that the frame score's only got 2 points in it, the same applies to Ken.
I just think that Ronnie would be more likely to get frustrated, wouldn't he, than Ken with this sort of situation.
That's a good point.
You know, don't call him crafty Ken for nothing. He's a very tactically skillful player. Not that Ronnie isn't, but he less willing to play that way most of the time. You can move the red away from the black a little bit here. But again, Ken will only be able to play one shot. That's the problem. All he can do is push the first red across to the right of the table as we're looking. That's
and
all
this
he can
could
do.
go on all night.
Well, I hope it doesn't go on all night. I mean, it's quite an interesting little battle, isn't it?
It's a fascinating situation. One frame apiece. Only 2 points in it in this third, in a best of 9. And how long is it since we last saw a ball potted?
It's been a while. That's changed things.
Now then, that has changed things. Now there's a real opportunity here for Ken to have a go at this red into the left corner.
Oh, there you go. That's the end of the stalemate. It's a pretty long bout of safety there on the two reds. That was the last thing he wanted.
Yes, that was unfortunate. He was hoping that the white would go all the way down into baulk and back again, and it would have done if it hadn't cannoned into the brown. Or was it the green? I beg your pardon. Nonetheless, it has at least got rid of that stalemate, which must have taken some 10 or 15 minutes.
Snooker, which shouldn't be that difficult to hit. Probably one cushion, although just a chance that the middle pocket is in the way of the natural one cushion escape. I have to play this with a bit of pace to get the cue ball a bit wider. Yeah, that's what he's tried. Well, it's been a strange old frame, isn't it, this one? Not that much that many balls have been missed, it's just that balls have run really awkwardly again. That was always the risk on that shot. He was going to push the red quite close to a pocket. It's not hanging over the jaws, but it's one that Ken will take on.
Well, he overcuts it.
Yeah, by so much that he didn't leave the red on, amazingly enough. Well, they might say good shot there, but I actually think that was a double kiss that he got on the red, so he wouldn't have played it like that. It's always tricky when you've got the blue there. You could easily hit the blue instead of the red here. Well, Well, he's not hit the blue, but he's hit the yellow.
And the miss 4. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Well, he's got a stonewall snooker back, as Ronnie. Playing off 2 cushions, not 1.
Foul and a miss.
Not particularly close either.
4. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Wouldn't be surprised if this one went back, because it would look a tricky snooker to hit. Oh, well, that was Ken's fault, you know. Really, he tried to help.
Yes, please.
The yellow's got to be moved as well. No, really, Ken shouldn't have done that, you know.
He shouldn't have done that.
He tried to help Alan out by pushing. I'll tell you that. Poor, who'd be a referee? Not only has he got to put the balls back, he's got to put the yellow back, which never even moved on the shot.
That's right.
It's ridiculous.
Yes. According to the rules, a player is not allowed to do that, and technically it's a foul shot if he does do that.
I don't know. I'm not sure what you can do about that, because he's just played a foul shot, hasn't he? He can only play one foul on any one shot.
I suppose.
All I know is that it's confused the situation. Let's just leave it at
He
that.
certainly has.
But really, it's a bit much when the yellow's got to be replaced, isn't it? When it never moved.
Let's have a look at this. We're going to see it again. Oh, we're just seeing the still, actually. Well, the yellow appears to be in the correct position.
So there's a green. It's not bad. It's about a couple of millimetres out. The cue ball is the next one. That's where that was in there. I don't know. The mess people get into at snooker.
I tell you what, I'll be glad when this frame's over, Neil. I don't know about you.
Strange frame this has been.
2 cushions again.
Foul and a miss 4.
This is a free ball.
Could be a free ball, this, couldn't it? Yeah.
Which Ronnie will take. He'll take the brown, and it gives him a good chance to steal this frame now. Although, with all the safety that's been going on, you do always wonder whether players might have lost his rhythm a little bit. I mean, Ronnie's not potted a ball for ages, is he?
He's going to in a moment. So that brown is 1 point as an extra red.
1.
Left-handed on the green.
Slightly weak, that one, wasn't it? Wasn't played at all well. And so much, though, that he's got to use the rest this time.
4.
Don't think it's going to be a huge problem, though.
5.
He tried to just flick the yellow on and finish nice and straight on the blue, but he's not quite straight. He's got to be a bit careful here. He's got to play this slowly. Good shot. Nice touch.
10.
So he wants up to the brown.
12.
That's okay, a bit short of speed, but he hasn't got to go all around the table, I don't think. He just checked the scores. He knows he needs the brown as well. So
15.
It looks like Ronnie is going to come good in this frame in the end. It's been a strange old frame, a bit scrappy and lots of safety.
Yes, well, that was frame ball, and it's been a very prolonged frame. They've already gone in for their cups of tea on the other table. All square, by the way. Ding Junhui 2, Mark Davis 2. That's not far off. Oh. Well, he's done enough. And the third frame finally comes to its conclusion after that prolonged bout of safety in the middle. And it goes to Ronnie O'Sullivan. So from 1-0 behind, thanks to that 110 in the second frame, and then getting the better of Ken eventually in that one, he now leads by 2 frames to 1. Well, here we are back at the Waterfront Hall in Belfast, awaiting the start of the fourth frame of a possible 9 between Ken Doherty there and the world champion and world number 1 Ronnie O'Sullivan. And that last frame, what was it, 40 odd minutes, that one of the longest frames that Ronnie O'Sullivan's been involved in for a long time. He doesn't often get bogged down quite like that, but the way the ball's finished with the black hanging over the pocket, it was always going to be a long one. So this is the one that will take them up to their mid-session interval. I think they'll need a cup of tea after that, Neil.
Yes, it was an odd frame, but it's almost the beauty of it, isn't it? We talk about how attacking Ronnie is, but even he can get slowed down by a frame where the ball just won really awkwardly like that. Anyway, he leads 2-1, which is really all that counts. It's not how, it's how many at this game. Good shot, nice opener. If it bounces, then it's an angle on the black to go into some reds. I think he'll take it on, even though it is quite thin, this black. Wouldn't really be sure where the cue was going to finish from this, but it's worth the risk.
Ken Doherty, 1.
Well, fortunately,
Touching ball.
for the duration of this frame, there's a chance for Ronnie to get this red and remove that black. The touching ball's been called. It's on a red which is at the top of the pack, but it won't obstruct his attempt at this red in any way. He wants this red to get that black into the pocket so that he can continue. We don't want another prolonged bout like the last frame.
It's awkward cueing though, isn't it, like that? Well played, Ronnie. Now, thought he'd go into the pack here. He may still have the shot too. He's a bit straighter on the black than he would have wanted. Oh, yeah, the whole thing was a blur, wasn't it? It hit the ball so quickly there.
But it's on one.
Yeah, I think the red's just come away from the pocket, hasn't it, that moved around the table there. So he is on one, you're right. Push the black a little awkward, so this will test him, if nothing else. The thing with Ronnie O'Sullivan 16. Is that he can win a frame so quickly. It's literally a couple of minutes he can be away and gone in a frame.
17.
Such a heavy scorer, he seems to see the shot so quickly to play. You can be sitting in your chair like Ken is for 2 or 3 minutes and it's all gone. All the balls have gone. But there you go.
Sullivan, 17.
Well, that was inexplicable.
Just a bit straight, I suppose. He would say that he had to do a little bit more with it than normal, but you would never have imagined him missing it.
1. Eight. Nine.
And he's forced into going into the pack here. 6 reds close together. I don't think he can avoid them really. Unless he just plays this with topspin, he might just be able to scrape past them. No, he's done well.
$16. $17.
cleared. You always wonder if the reds are going to cover each other, but he's got certainly at least one red onto the right centre. I think he's got the one to the right corner as well. So that was nicely done.
23.
Nice for the cue ball to be cleaned there. May have not been a kick, but he might have seen something on the cue ball, a bit of chalk or something, which is maybe distracting him slightly.
$28. 29.
What a great chance to win the frame this is, and one that he needs to take in this match. 4 loose reds in the middle of the table would take him way over the line. Wouldn't have to worry about the red up the table.
37.
Right hand side cushion, that will be something for Ronnie to worry about, but the minute it's not any guarantees that Ronnie will come back to the table in this frame at all.
$44. $45.
Difference 36 points then.
52.
And Ken's first half century of the match.
Yes, and he wants red colour, red to secure the frame.
53.
Well, after the length of that previous frame, Neil, this frame could be over in pretty well record time by comparison.
More like it, isn't it? And Ronnie's shown glimpses of his brilliant best. Missed 1 or 2 as well, though, hasn't he?
$60.
This is frame ball. I think Ken will be fully aware of that.
The audience certainly were.
He does look quite sharp, does Ken. He's, as we already said, out of the top 16 now, and which he'd not been the case for many, many years.
69.
Might have done him a little bit of good. Means he had to play a qualifier to get here. Earlier round, of course, this week I mean, but to get through to play a top 16 player, he's got to win 1 match. That's going to be the case throughout, and he'll have to qualify for Sheffield as well, which won't please him, because nobody likes that match leading up to Sheffield. But in some ways, if you do get through your qualifiers, you're boosted by a few extra ranking points and a bit of confidence, so it can, as I say, work in your favour at times.
75.
Missing the pink when he had a chance of a century, but he'll settle for the 75 because it's more than enough to give him the frame and take him into the mid-session interval on a par with Ronnie O'Sullivan. Well, here we are back at the Waterfront Hall in Belfast, awaiting the start of the 4th frame of a possible 9 between Ken Doherty there and the world champion and world #1 Ronnie O'Sullivan. And that last frame, what was it, 40 odd minutes, that one of the longest frames that Ronnie O'Sullivan's been involved in for a long time. He doesn't often get bogged down quite like that, but the way the ball's finished with the black hanging over the pocket, it was always going to be a long one. So this is the one that will take them up to their mid-session interval. I think they'll need a cup of tea after that, Neil. Yes,
it was an odd frame, but it's almost the beauty of it, isn't it? We talk about how attacking Ronnie is, but even he can get slowed down by a frame where the ball just won really awkwardly like that. Anyway, he leads 2-1, which is really all that counts. It's not how, it's how many at this game. Good shot, nice opener. If it bounces, then it's an angle on the black to go into some reds. I think he'll take it on, even though it is quite thin, this black. Wouldn't really be sure where the cue was going to finish from this, but it's worth the risk.
Ken Doherty, 1.
Well, fortunately,
touching ball
for the duration of this frame, there's a chance for Ronnie to get this red and remove that black. The touching ball's been called. It's on a red which is at the top of the pack, but it won't obstruct his attempt at this red in any way. He wants this red to get that black into the pocket so that he can continue. We don't want another prolonged bout like the last frame.
It's awkward queuing though, isn't it, like that? Well played, Ronnie. Now, thought he'd go into the pack here. He may still have the shot too. It's a bit straighter on the black than he would have wanted. Yeah, the whole thing was a blur, wasn't it? It hit the ball so quickly there.
But it's on one.
Yeah, I think the red's just come away from the pocket, hasn't it, that moved around the table there. So he is on one, you're right. Push the black a little awkward, so this will test him, if nothing else. The thing with Ronnie O'Sullivan 16. Is that he can win a frame so quickly. It's literally a couple of minutes he can be away and gone in a frame.
17.
Such a heavy score. He seems to see the shot so quickly to play. You can be sitting in your chair like Ken is for 2 or 3 minutes and it's all gone. All the balls have gone. But there you go.
Sullivan, 17.
Well, that was inexplicable.
Just a bit straight, I suppose. He would say that he had to do a little bit more with it than normal, but you would never have imagined him missing it.
One. Eight. Nine.
Well, he's forced into going into the pack here. 6 reds close together. I don't think he can avoid them really. As he just plays this with topspin, he might just be able to scrape past them. No, he's done well.
$16. $17.
It's a good split. You always wonder if the reds are going to cover each other, but he's got certainly at least one red onto the right centre. I think he's got the one to the right corner as well. So that was nicely done.
23.
Asked for the cue ball to be cleaned there. May have not been a kick, but he might have seen something on the cue ball, a bit of chalk or something, which is maybe distracting him slightly.
$28. 29.
What a great chance to win the frame this is, and one that he needs to take in this match. 4 loose reds in the middle of the table would take him way over the line. Wouldn't have to worry about the red up the table.
37.
Right hand side cushion, that will be something for Ronnie to worry about, but the minute it's not any guarantees that Ronnie will come back to the table in this frame at all.
$44. $45.
Difference 36 points then.
52.
And Ken's first half century of the match.
Yes, and he wants red colour red to secure the frame.
53.
Well, after the length of that previous frame, Neil, this frame could be over in pretty well record time by comparison.
More like it, isn't it? And Ronnie's shown glimpses of his brilliant best. Missed 1 or 2 as well, though, hasn't he?
$60.
This is frame ball. I think Ken will be fully aware of that.
The audience certainly were.
He does look quite sharp, does Ken. He's, as we already said, out of this top 16 now, and which he not been the case for many, many years.
69.
Might have done him a little bit of good. Means he had to play a qualifier to get here. Earlier round, of course, this week I mean, but to get through to play a top 16 player, he's got to win 1 match. That's going to be the case throughout, and he'll have to qualify for Sheffield as well, which won't please him, because nobody likes that match leading up to Sheffield. But in some ways, if you do get through your qualifiers, you're boosted by a few extra ranking points and a bit of confidence, so it can, as I say, work in your favour at times.
75.
Missing the pink when he had a chance of a century, but he'll settle for the 75 because it's more than enough to give him the frame and take him into the mid-session interval on a par with Ronnie O'Sullivan. Well, welcome back live to the Waterfront Hall here in Belfast for more coverage of the Northern Ireland Trophy. This is the first ranking event of the new snooker season 2008-2009, and just to recap all square, 2 frames apiece at the mid-session interval in this second round match between Ronnie O'Sullivan, the world champion and world number 1, and the former world champion Ken Doherty, there just going back to his seat after breaking off. A fascinating and very contrasting set of frames in the first lot of 4. Ken taking the first one without any great heroics from either side. Ronnie rattling in a 110 in the second. And then that third frame with the prolonged bout of safety, a black over the pocket and just 2 reds remaining. It lasted for 46 minutes and 49 seconds, the official duration of that frame. And the fourth one, well, by comparison, as Ronnie opens frame 5 with a very nice red, by comparison the fourth frame was super rapid, with Ken knocking in a 75 to square it all up. So we're in exactly the same position we were at the start, except that there are not 9 frames left, there are merely 5 frames left. So best of 5, first 2-5 going through into the last 16 and the third round, which will all take place tomorrow. And for those who've just switched on, let me remind you of the situation in the one other match being played this evening on table 2, Ding Junhui versus Mark Davis. They've just come out from their mid-session interval. It was all square, 2 apiece there, but Mark's on a half-century break against the man from China. So, Neil Foles, as I said, a contrasting first 4 frames. Who knows what we've got in store in these possible next 5?
Yeah, I mean, Ronnie's looked quite sharp in spells. I mean, he made a terrific century break in the second frame. And apart from that, he's missed 1 or 2. And he's his own worst critic, really. So he won't be happy with his game. But it is early in the match, early in the tournament, and, of course, early in the season. So just keep an eye on his form, really. He started this frame brightly. He's already in amongst the high colours at the top of the table, around the black spot, which is where he loves being.
20.
Does get bored sometimes out there, doesn't he? But he never seems to get bored when he's scoring.
Well, you have to give him credit for holding his concentration in that prolonged third frame. Oh, Ronnie. That's the second black off the spot he's missed this match.
Just awkward queuing, wasn't it, that one?
It was. Red. The early one he missed was a much more straightforward one, I recall. But yes, sometimes he can lose interest in the prolonged frames, such as we saw in frame 3, but all credit to him. He did keep his concentration going, and of course ultimately he did win that frame. Green ball nominated by Ken, just rolling up, but he's left it short. And that's a very, very bad thing for a professional player to do.
Yeah, the trouble is, when you're on the cushion like that, playing that shot from tight on the cushion, it's actually hard to judge the roll-up. So I've seen it done more when someone's been in the same position that Ken was there, nominating the green as the free ball. He might change his mind to the brown, actually. This counts as a red, of course. He has to take a colour afterwards. It's a good shot, isn't it? I wonder if he's finished a bit straight on this black. I'm not sure what he can do with this unless something goes. I see the red on the left of the pack will pop to the left centre. That's the only real shot he has here, I think.
I think he's got the angle for it as well.
13. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Some way out there. But it was the only shot he had on. That white's a bit adjacent. Ooh, he's just got away with it. Good shot to nothing, I suppose. It was always going to be down in the ball again, that white, but always worth having a pop at those reds like that.
Yeah, just looking at his angle on the brown, doesn't want to be dead straight on it, because you maybe couldn't get off of a cushion onto a red close up to it, so have to see what kind of angle he has here. No, I think he tried to make an angle, which is always dangerous in the middle pocket like that. Not a huge pocket opening really when you're playing across into a middle bag. So he's missed it, and again, just one or two errors in his game tonight, Ronnie.
One.
Yes, and Ken will have picked up on that. He will know that he could quite easily win this match. Well, I don't mean he will win it easily, I mean it's a great possibility. And that would be another seed out. Already 7 of the 14 matches completed have seen the top 16 men lose. The possibility of another 2 tonight, Ronnie O'Sullivan and Ding Junhui, you never know. Mark Davis on the other table is on a, or has had a big break in the 5th frame. It looks like he could go 3-2 ahead of Ding Junhui.
Six. Seven.
Oh, he's played that very well to finish top side of the blue. Just wonder if the red that's just below and to the left of the black will pot into the right corner. That would be a big help if it did. Well, he looks like he's played in behind it. That's a great shot, that is.
12.
That is exactly what he played. There is another red, of course, as well, which along the cushion he can take shortly before he has to go into the other 4 reds in the little cluster. He's still a few points behind, so he's got work on still. I mean, you just feel that he'll play some sort of a cannon here. It wouldn't be a lot of speed, I don't think, just to nudge 1 or 2 of them out into open play, which I think he's done all right. The bottom one of the 3 will pot. Just got to be careful where the cue will finishes up. Not a certainty to be on a colour. If he plays it with topspin, he'll be looking to get onto the black, I think. Yep, good shot. He's got a good knowledge of the game as Ken. Been around a long, long time.
$21.
Yes, Ronnie is in his 17th season as a pro now.
$28.
Doesn't seem that long, does it? 17 seasons. Still remember the first time we ever saw him as a professional when he won all those qualifying matches up at in Blackpool at the Norbreck Castle, and match after match, undefeated.
Yes, in those days we used to hold all the qualifiers in one job lot, as it were, at the start of the season. Well, during the summertime, actually.
It was about 3 or 4 months of it, wasn't it?
It was, yes. Hard grind for all those who had to qualify. But that was a massive learning curve for Ronnie O'Sullivan. I remember it well.
34. 35.
Well, he shouldn't need the brown later on in clearing up. The frame should be safe by then. Just looking at the scores, as long as he takes high colours with the remaining 2 reds, then he won't need the brown. That's what will be on his mind. The minute he's got a lead of, what has he got, 4 points. So if he takes
42
blacks or maybe a pink here, then by the time he gets to the brown, there'll be more than 22 in it. And a player will be thinking about stuff like that, with the brown being a little bit awkward, a bit tied up.
$50.
Even if he takes a blue, is okay here because he's gone with high colours. You can just double check in the scores. You'll see 12 points of difference. So red and the blue is 18, and then yellow and green will be 23 with just 22 left. So
51.
that was the advantage of taking the high colours earlier in the break.
$56. 58.
His frame ball then.
Well, he played that as though he was planning to double the brown, but I'm not sure he's got the angle now. Well, any pocket will do. That was a double of sorts. Ronnie not amused. Again, not too pleased with things because he's snookered himself, as you see, having taken that brown into the corner. Well, he just got it. And the frame, Ronnie saying that'll do. He's not interested in coming back out again. So a 75 before the break, a 65 after the break. And 2 good breaks by Ken Doherty have brought him from 2-1 behind to now lead Ronnie O'Sullivan by 3 frames to 2. Well, time for us to take another short commercial break, but stay with us. We'll be back with frame 6 in a moment.
Your snooker knowledge with our new fantasy snooker game. Sign up for free, pick your players, and show off your managerial ability.
European football kicks off proper in Monaco. UEFA Cup winners Zenit St. Petersburg take on Champions League heroes Man United. It's great to be back. UEFA Super Cup. Don't miss a kick. Friday night on Eurosport 2.
Welcome back to the Waterfront Hall here in Belfast.
Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Frame 6 then of a possible 9. And we're getting towards the business end of the match now, and although there's only 1 frame in it, it becomes that much harder in a short match. Even when you're only 1 frame behind, you're under a little bit of pressure. Ronnie breaking off left-handed, as he nearly always does these days. Still plenty of encouragement from the Ken Doherty supporters in the audience, but they're a little more controlled than earlier. It was quite raucous at the start. In case you missed the earlier stages of this match, I can tell you there was some really undisciplined shouting, and referee Alan Chamberlain had to call for order and eventually call for stewards. Nicely on the black. So close to knocking a red in there. Just got away with it. You heard a few oohs and ahs in the audience.
Nine.
It's got to work for the next red. I mean, if he can get to the other side of the table, the right of the table, he can pot a couple of reds, and he's done that. He's done well there. There wasn't much angle. Just done across to the right of the table. Wouldn't mind if this was fairly straight, this red, so he could just run through. I think he possibly has the angle to do that if he wants to. Black will pot to the right and left corners.
17.
And he held the spot this time. Maybe he has, knowing that if that's the case, well, I think that Ken is believing it goes up onto the blue spot, the black, which I think it does. Pink spot was covered. Alan Chamberlain just checked that. That was deliberately played by Ken.
25.
Certainly the red at the bottom and to the right of the pack will pot to the left corner, so that's what they'll be looking at getting on here.
$31. $32.
Need some speed on this one to get up top side. Just a slight angle, I'd say.
Go.
What happened there? Something in the arena just slightly putting Ken off, I think, there for a second.
Where's the white?
Foul.
Well, that's very unfortunate.
Ken Doherty 32. Ronnie O'Sullivan 7.
Well, I suppose he would say that he probably should have made contact with the pack, but he's gone in off. It's a bit unfortunate in the end to have gone in off. There wasn't a pot on, but that's where the break ended. I think Things getting a little bit serious now for Ronnie O'Sullivan. He wouldn't want to go 4-2 down in the best of 9. That would be quite a long way back. So this frame is pretty crucial, I think, to his chances. He would fancy the job if he could get this frame back after going a few points behind. Well, there is applause, but he wouldn't have played him behind the green like that. It's not the shot that Ken would have played. This is tricky because not only is it an escape from a snooker, it's a little swerve with left-hand side, so he can get the cue ball down the cushion a little further.
Not hard enough.
No, and those shots can be misjudged when you're playing a swerve. Sometimes you can misjudge the speed, and that's exactly what Ronnie did there. Completely got it wrong. A thin cut into the right corner. Can't imagine that he's going to have the balls replaced here. I don't think that that's in his favour at all. There's the red he's got into the middle, but he's not playing it. He's playing the thin cut.
One.
I think he probably is. Don't see much of an angle there. But that's maybe a chance to win the frame that has gone from Ken. Maybe he could have done better there. I mean, okay, he'll probably play a decent safety shot, but Ronnie will come back to the table.
Ken Doherty.
Nicely played.
This looks like a snooker that it's going to be hard to hit. I mean, he's got plenty of reds there, so I don't think a number of replaced shots and misses called, but played that with side. Fine. Good shot. There's a little bit of a crisis there that Ronnie has got out of. Could be back in behind there again here. Ken could possibly play this safety shot in such a way to get him behind the green again. To this red. That's what he's tried. Oh, yes. Not bad, eh?
Well, not bad, and I suspect that the green there actually just rolled back on Ken's favour there.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. Sort of clung to it, didn't it, a little bit? Sometimes you see that. Well, I think there's going to be a red potable, but you know, it's not going to be easy at all to get onto a colour. So he probably thinks, is it worth taking?
Ball again.
Might be looking at behind the green again here.
5, 4.
This time Ronnie can at least get to a red.
Nicely picked.
Six. 7.
Certainly a handy lead that Ken's got where the balls are. A number of pretty tied up reds. He's looking at how he's going to get onto a colour from here.
15.
That's out. Well played.
Yeah, absolutely perfect.
Well, now, this is getting a little bit interesting, isn't it? As you said, Neil,
22.
Ronnie will not want to go 4-2 behind in a best of 9. He would have to win the last 3 to stay in the competition.
23.
It's not a tournament that he's won, although, of course, we've only had it on 3 previous occasions. On the first of those occasions, it was only an invitation event when Matthew Stevens won it back in 2005. Ronnie got to the final the following year, but Ding Junhui beat him 9 frames to 6 on that occasion. And talking of the man from China, I can tell you that he's now trailing to Mark Davis by 3 frames to 2 over on the other table. Meanwhile, frame ball for Ken Doherty here for a 4-2 lead. And this would be
35.
deemed a turn-up for the book, wouldn't it? With Ken being the outsider of the two in terms of ranking these days.
36.
And not having beaten Ronnie, remember, since 2001.
Yes, and he's getting a bit of confidence together now. Ken has played
41.
quite tidily all the way through the match, to be fair. Done a lot wrong.
42.
Ronnie's missed more balls, and so the 4-2 reflection is right, I think, on the scores. It's been Ken who's been on the best of form. What's Ronnie got left? Hopefully
47.
a little bit more. I mean, don't mind who wins this game, but it's going to be Ken who takes the lead.
47 and the frame. And Ken Doherty goes within 1 frame of a bit of a turnaround. Ken, the outsider of 2 here. Remember, he's ranked number 18 at the moment. Ronnie O'Sullivan, of course, the world number 1. So, Ronnie with something to think about here, with 3 frames remaining. He needs to win them all, trailing Ken Doherty now by 4 frames to 2. Well, we'll squeeze in another short commercial break, but don't go away. I'm sure you want to see how this match turns out.
Prove your snooker knowledge with our new fantasy snooker game. Sign up for free, pick your players, and...
Well, here we are back again in Belfast with this fascinating situation. There's the one of the main scoreboards in the arena here at the Waterfront Hall. These are the big scoreboards that World Snooker put up in the arenas. Ronnie, is he looking at one of them? I don't think he should be. It's not looking very favourable for him. 4-2 down. Ken Doherty, his opponent, needing just 1 more. And here he is returning to the arena for frame 7.
Frame 7. Ken Doherty to break.
And there'll be a huge draw here, I can tell you, if Ken Doherty does put the number 1 seed out. Well, actually, technically, he's not the number 1 seed, is he? Of course, he's the number 1 in the world, but number 1 seed is always the defending champion, and that's Stephen Maguire.
Thank you.
Ronnie coming into this match, strictly speaking, as the number 2 seed, but of course he is world rank number 1. Oh, how's that for a starter? Now is he on the black? Now he's gone too far.
1.
Oh, he might be on the pink.
Yeah, a bit lucky there. A little flick on the red has taken him onto the pink. It's all a question of if Ronnie gets quickly back into this match now, I think if he can knock in a break here, he'll get his confidence back and he'll fancy it. But if the frame continues the way the match has gone on, I'll be a bit concerned for Ronnie.
Yes, and he's overcooked that one. Got into the cue ball too deeply. And he was aiming for this red just to the left of the black. But he's not on it now.
7.
Meantime, the pinks had to go top side of the pack. It won't respot. It's a bit close to the corner, Ronnie.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 7, Ken Doherty 4.
Yeah, it's not a great shot to going off there, really, when you get the cue ball just about anywhere he would like from the pretty simple safety shot he had. Now the problem here is that the pink is in the way for the safety shots. As far as Ronnie is concerned, little thin safety on the right of the table as we're looking has got to be very, very thin. Well, not quite that thin.
No, he missed it completely on the way up.
But the reason he did that was because the pink was there and he knew he couldn't hit half ball on the safety, otherwise he'd have crashed into the pink.
Wow, Ken normally a very cultured player, but that was a bit of a heave-ho. You don't often see Ken do that. And as a consequence, he was a long way off it.
The red struggled in a bit, but looks like he's got an angle on the blue. If he wants to do a bit of damage, he's looking at the yellow as well. I mean, he's a bit thinner on the blue than he would have liked. Little soft screw off the blue. Gently into the reds, not too firmly, and that's not bad. He's definitely got a red that pots to the left corner, but
6.
I don't think it's easy for him to get onto the black from this. Yeah, that's a really, really good shot. Queuing awkwardly to just knock the black off. What a shot that was.
Yes, there was a touch of genius there, Neil.
14.
Seems to recognise the shots very quickly, doesn't he? He's always been the same.
50.
He's under a lot of pressure here, in that he's 2 down with potentially 3 to play, but if he does get on a roll, he could do this. He could win these 3 frames quite quickly.
22.
He's very capable of that. Don't think he's been at his best.
23.
Just a few moments where he's looked good tonight. The rest of the time, certainly below his best form by a long way. But he's won the World Championship 3 times now. He's really the complete player.
30.
We all have a little look at him and his body language at times to see how he's shaping up.
31.
And as long as that's all right, and the rest is all there, isn't it? Especially when he's in amongst them like this. There's no player like him now.
39.
A lot of reds go here. I mean, looking at the little cluster of half a dozen reds, many of them pot, as you can see, lined up nicely, aren't they, into this left-hand corner.
46.
So you get the feeling this is probably going to take him over the line, providing he doesn't do something really stupid from here.
Yes, he had to go down for either blue or brown there, because he just didn't get the cue ball through enough on that previous shot. But the mark of a great player is the way he recovers
51.
when out of position. If anybody can do that better than Ronnie, do tell me.
52.
Well, that was a bad mistake for him to go into the red and the pink. There's no way he meant that. So he'll be a bit annoyed, but provided he knocks this in, it won't matter. Oh, there you go. That was a good recovery.
59.
So this frame looks like it's gone for Ken Doherty quite quickly.
60.
And that is always the worry playing Ronnie. Snookers needed, but probably almost certainly won't get a chance to get them.
68.
No, it's going to be 4-3, and in pretty rapid time as well. I think they're both trying to make up for lost time after that frame 3, remember.
75. 76.
This is really boiling up now into a really good match. Ken's got to be still favourite 4-3 up, but
83.
signs that Ronnie's finding his form would be a worry.
Oh, missed the red, it doesn't matter. The 83 points, more than enough. Following that 110 that he got in frame 2, he pulls one back, but still has a monumental task to perform, because he still trails Ken Doherty, albeit it's now by just the one frame at 4 frames to 3. Stay with us, we'll have frame 8 for you after this. Welcome back to this intriguing Ronnie O'Sullivan-Ken Doherty confrontation here. This the last evening of the second round of this Northern Ireland Trophy. And Ronnie O'Sullivan still up against it. He was 4-2 down, but an 83 in that previous frame has pegged it back to 4-3, as you see, bottom centre of your screen there. 2 frames remaining. Ken needs 1. Ronnie needs them both.
Didn't know anything about that. He raises his hand to apologise. He just played the safety shot. He will gain the advantage, providing he just is able to roll up behind this colour. I don't think he's got the snooker. It was a big target there to try and cover the red spread so far at this end of the table.
Well, he remembers that a little while earlier Ken Doherty attempted a roll up to the green and fell well short, and so Ronnie overcompensated. Oh, well picked out. Well, there are 2 there to go at into the right corner, just beyond the black. those three in a line, the second and the third, as we look at them, will both go.
Yeah, there's lots of reds on here, lots of options. He's got the red over the middle if he ever gets into any trouble.
12.
Now, he just wants to know whether he can get onto the black into the right corner and where his cue ball will need to be. It's a bit of a risk to take that shot on where the balls are. I mean, the other alternative is to try and find a gap, play the red above it and get up for the blue. So it looks absolutely perfect, but when you think about it, there's just a couple of things you've got to be careful of. Now, he's playing the top red. In fact, he's playing the red in the centre. He's gone through the gap. What a terrific shot. He had so many options there, didn't he? The reds are nicely placed here. And that's where he's very, very good. I mean, he didn't have to play the cannon, but he was so confident that he could
20.
glance off the first red, cannon the second one. Everything's staying in the middle of the table, nothing being pushed onto a side cushion or anything.
21.
Well, he'd like to hope that he can get past the green and get to the yellow. I'd say he's got a bit of a spring in his step, so I think he can, looking at that. Can't really see from our position, but he is on it. And all of a sudden, we could, in about 5 minutes, be looking at 4-4.
Yes. He has this habit
24.
of tearing apart a frame quite quickly. We've mentioned it many times in the past. You've seen it for yourselves, and this could be another example. He's picked out these reds so well.
31.
And taking this red will clear the black a little better for him.
32.
Might need a cannon here to just hold the white for the next red.
Just rest on the two reds. So he is finding his feet. Obviously, if he goes to 4-4, then the pressure will slightly come back on him again. Now that he's got the chance to get over the line. I mean, he is best player in the world, but he feels it like anybody else does under pressure, especially so early in the season. He would like to get off to a decent start, you think?
Left-handed.
46.
Rarely makes any difference, though.
Can't see him worrying about the two reds below the black at this stage. Doesn't need those.
53.
Another half century, his third, one of which, of course, he converted into three figures.
So just a little bit more work to do.
59.
In fact, this is now a frame ball red. Now from 4-2, Ken's not had a chance. And now he's faced with 4-4. He's not really had any kind of a chance to go and clinch this match. He'll be saying to himself that surely my chance will come.
68.
Hard to imagine losing 3 frames in a row without getting something to go at. It doesn't happen very often. But he will be thinking, you just need to wait and something might come my way. That's all you ask for, really. Because this frame is gone. It's 4-all.
Could be there, yeah. Well, would he believe it? That was a real heave-ho. He didn't really think he was going to pot a red. Well,
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 74.
a good 74 from Ronnie. Well, 73 and a fluke anyway. More than enough, though, to give him 2 in a row. From 4-2 behind, would you believe it? He squared it all up. We're going to see the 9th of the 9. It's anybody's match, this. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4, Ken Doherty 4. We'll take a short break and a breather. Join us for the decider in a moment. And see whether they've updated Ding Junhui's.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, here we are back again, and not too surprisingly, shouts of "Come on, Ronnie, come on, Ken" from various sections of the audience here. This the decider then. Which of these two will go through to the third round, the round of the last 16, where, oh, I haven't mentioned this, it's Joe Perry who awaits the winner of this match in tomorrow's next round. Joe had a 5-2 win over Jamie Cope earlier today. Wouldn't be at all surprised if Joe Perry's watching this somewhere.
I think it's been the best match so far, isn't it?
It's turned out to be a fascinating match, Neil, particularly to have prolonged frame 3, almost 47 minutes of it.
That's not a good safety shot at all, to crash into the yellow. That was a poor shot from somebody who doesn't normally make mistakes like that in Ken. You know, you don't give Ronnie O'Sullivan the chance to get his hand on the table, because there is a red that pops to the right corner, so that really was a bad shot. Doesn't mean he'll knock this in, but you wouldn't want to give him the chance to. Oh yes, well, he's on a bit of a roll now, isn't he? That was another very classy shot, given that he knew that he could stick that red that's just above and to the left of the back. Should he have missed it, but he didn't miss it. He didn't look like missing it either, did he, when he got down on it? So he's in again, he's in first, and he's got a chance here.
Hey.
And we know what he's like when he gets on a roll, and he seems to be on one now.
9. $16. $17.
Well, this is a match that's changed dramatically very, very quickly.
Yes, Ken looked to be in control at the end of frame 6. He got a nice little 47 there to clear up to take it to lead 4-2. And if I got my statistics right, Neil, he's not potted a ball since. Ronnie's had runs of 83 and 74 in the previous 2 frames to keep Ken in his chair.
Yep. He's done a lot of sitting down, hasn't he, in the last 3 frames, Ken? Now then, you tell yourself you're going to get another chance, because you don't think that your opponent can win 3 frames without giving you a sniff. But has Ronnie finished on one here? I think he's got a difficult one, but is he on that straight one? I think he's on it. I think his concern is where the cue ball will finish. Well, he's on that one, and that will take him up the table. Oh, that's played so well. He's a bit straight on this, it's the only thing you'd say. But it doesn't matter, because he's got the pink close to this red, so that makes things easy if he wants to stun in on the pink. Keeping the game simple. He might play on the black, because pink might just tie up a couple of reds when respotted.
$37.
Yeah, that's why he played off 2 cushions onto the black, because I think the pink would have just gone in a slightly awkward place to continue the break.
Well, this has been some turnaround from Ronnie O'Sullivan at 4-2 behind.
44.
Can look favourite. Rod had missed one or two shots that you would expect him to get normally. At that point, playing left-handed
45.
again. He's playing that a little bit strong too, playing back for the blue. He's going to have to take properly the green.
I think he played safe there almost in a way. Just thought, well, I know that if I overhit this, I'm on something. So he's playing to win this frame, not worried about any flash breaks. He's now moved into the kind of mode where he just wants to win the frame at this visit, potting any colours. And this has been really brilliant stuff from Ronnie, because we all know how his head can drop sometimes if he's not playing as well as he can. Such a perfectionist, and his body language can change, but there's been none of that. He's been very, very driven in the last 3 frames, and poor old Ken Doherty has not had a chance. He's not done an awful lot wrong. I mean, he did play a bad safety shot at the start of this frame, which I mentioned at the time. Hit the cue ball into the yellow, but you're talking about minor mistakes. It looks like he's going to lose 3 frames in a row here. Just a bit more work to do for Ronnie. But as I say, I think he's just got into that frame of mind now where he's just going to
64.
Keep things simple, not worry about staying around the black end of the table.
65.
And well, this next colour will be enough. It's a sensational comeback in quick time.
Oh, that has virtually put him into the 3rd round.
He'd like to see one more red go down, wouldn't he? And just one snooker needed. This next red will absolutely clinch it. So there you are. That is just brilliant, isn't it? That's why he's world champion.
And you know, these last 3 frames are going to finish almost certainly in less time than it took the 2 of them to get through frame 3, which was almost 47 minutes.
76.
He really has just flicked a switch, hasn't he, Neil?
77.
Absolutely. And well, if you can, you're just thinking sometimes there's nothing you can do about stuff like this at snooker. There's nothing you can do. You just got to
84.
walk away, really.
Yeah.
He's played quite well.
85.
He's not played vintage Doherty, but he's played well enough.
He's going to have to wait a little longer then for his first victory over Ronnie since 2001.
92.
Oh, go on,
shouts that.
Ken, shouts one of the Irish boys in the audience. Sadly, it's a little late for Ken, because that 92 following the 83 and the 74 is enough to give Ronnie victory in a sensational comeback here at the Waterfront Hall, Belfast. No joy for the great number of Ken Doherty supporters in the audience. It's all good for him at 4 frames to 2, but then Ronnie O'Sullivan put his foot hard down on the accelerator. Runs of 83, 74 and 92, all in double quick time, turned it all around, and the number 1 is through. Ronnie O'Sullivan beats Ken Doherty by 5 frames to 4.